Nada, que
Dile que se venga para acá conmigo, que hace Lupita. Ella tiene que estar donde está, obligatoriamente.
yo no sé, pues la invitación está ahí, Lupita, para que vayas a Puerto Rico, a estar con Adriana.
Ella estaba donde en México.
Está en México, pero no me acuerdo, no sé si está en Guadalajara, no me acuerdo dónde es.
Bueno, pues ahí tengo cuarto para el que quiera venir. Está todavía vacío.
Y que se una a nuestro grupo. Pues, no, ya está ya unida. ¿Qué me ibas a decir?
¿Qué apellido es Lupita?
No sé.
Es que quiero saber si la tengo en el Facebook o no.
Yo creo que no, yo creo que es solamente por YouTube, que ella nos diga.
Ok, pues nada, sí, las puertas están abiertas para que el que tenga que llegar.
Pues Lupita, saca tu pasaje, tu pasaporte. Tienes invitación para Puerto Rico.
Claro.
Porque ibas a decir que empezaste
Que
a
lo
decir.
más extraño está ocurriendo porque tú sabes que ayer hablé con mami, ¿verdad?
Sí,
Y la conversación, independientemente de lo que se habló, yo lo único que podía ver era el amor. Y hoy Javier me llamó y hemos tenido la conversación más cordial y más amorosa de este mundo. Y yo,
porque vas a evaluarlo, es el reflejo del estado tuyo
no,
mental.
yo no lo estoy evaluando, yo lo estoy observando. Como hace tanto tiempo que no pasó. Y fue maravilloso porque se habló. A ver, un momento yo le digo, pero es que yo no sé, no hablo con tu hermana porque no siento que está feliz. Me dice, no, sí, ella está pasando, ahora está, ahora no está sobreviviendo, estaba hablando de términos económicos, ¿no? Ahora no está sobreviviendo, pero todavía no está feliz. Y yo le dije, tú ves, eso es lo que yo te estaba diciendo a ti, que el dinero no va a hacer diferencia.
Sí.
Que haya o no haya, no tiene que ver en nada con que tú seas feliz. Y tu hermana te lo está enseñando ahí bien cerquita y lo estás viendo. Me dice, sí, es verdad, yo lo sé, pero prefiero que haya dinero para entonces darme cuenta de que no. O sea, quiero llegar a ese punto donde tengo dinero, pero me doy
Ella
cuenta de que no me hace
de la
feliz.
experiencia yo. Exacto.
Así puedo avanzar, porque entonces una vez yo tenga el dinero, me voy a dar cuenta de que eso no me va a hacer feliz, eso me va a motivar a ir un poquito más adentro. Ya pues está bien. Pero sí, y Angélica ya te reveló,
Sí,
y era
no, es otro.
que el que está tocando la guitarra en la otra foto.
Ese.
Fíjate, ese no me pega más el otro.
Pues ese es el.
Entonces le estaban dando una serenata, qué mono,
Sí.
escamizado allí, qué bello todo. Y en Facebook con Benito de testigo en la falda, qué mono.
Sí.
Ah, pues fabuloso, sí, que gocen.
Que goce, sí. Entonces yo hice mi ejercicio de espía y me fui y busqué la página del muchacho en Facebook para ver.
Ya le hiciste el profiling.
Lo más chulito él, es nómada, como nómada,
¿De dónde es?
de Canadá, yo creo.
Por eso ese no se ve latino.
No, no es
Ella
latino,
no habla inglés.
no, no, y el tipo no habla español.
Ay, qué maravilloso.
O sea que va a haber conflictos menores, porque no se puede
Exacto, no hay palabras con que atacarse.
ir
Qué fabuloso.
por señas y por telepatía, imagino. Un poquito
Ay, qué
inglés.
monada.
Eso es una relación perfecta. donde no se...
Todas son perfectas si te pones a ver.
Sí,
Eso fue otra cosa que también estaba hablando con Javier.
sí.
Hasta tocamos eso, el hecho de que no hay nada ni bueno ni malo, que todo es lo que tiene que pasar. Porque estuvo a punto de morir ayer.
¿Quién, Javier?
Sí, estuvo como a 5 segundos de ser aplastado por un árbol. O sea, menos de 5 segundos porque me dice que le cogió el dedo gordo y le empujó el hacha de la mano. O sea,
Ok.
él trató de salirse, pero
Estaba...
le llegó a coger la mano, estaba tumbando una palma. Y yo pues que no, él me dice, pues parece que tengo un propósito aquí porque estuvo bien cerquita. Ya pues
Por
mira
eso
que
ahora entiendo la llamada cordial y amorosa, porque llegó al borde de la muerte.
sabrá Dios, ¿verdad? Si eso era lo que tenía que pasar para que empezara a apreciar lo que tiene a su alrededor. Lo que sea, estuvo chévere y sí, es como que eso, tú sabes. Lo que tiene que pasar es lo que tiene que pasar y no hay sentido en pelear, ¿no? Hay que buscar la manera de amarlo y agradecerlo.
Sí, full.
Así que nada, yo estoy aquí encantada viendo porquerías de películas, de esas películas que sacan, que tienen un budget bien reducido, que son como comedias románticas de Navidad con historias
Ah, ah,
bien bien cheesy de lo que tiene que ser.
yo vi una que se llama, una nueva que salió en Netflix. ¿Cómo que se llama esa? Date algo, Holiday. Holiday.
Si ya me he tirado como 4,
Estuvo bien mona.
que tú no conoces a nadie y tú ves que no tienen chavos para poder hacer ni siquiera un escenario adecuado. Y yo, pues mira, si esto es lo que hay que ver, pues vamos a verlo en gratitud y ver cómo tú sabes, recordar cuando yo me creía el cuento de que esas cosas podían pasar y podían hacer que las personas tuvieran una
Feliz.
vida feliz.
Sí, exacto. Perdona esa fantasía. Pues yo
Sí.
terminé de ver The Good Place ayer con Adi. El último episodio es como, pues, los episodios son usualmente como menos de media hora, pero el final era 1 hora. Y me encantó cómo terminó. Lo encontré tan bello. Tú lo viste, ¿verdad?
Sí, que se fueron como que en un globo, una mierda de esa.
Bueno, ese no es el final.
No me acuerdo, yo sé que yo vi el final cuando salió hace poco, pero no me acuerdo
El
cómo
final.
termina.
Pues el final es que ellos terminan en el supuesto good place, pero que el good place no es nada de chévere tampoco. Entonces, pero finalmente es que ellos están como, es como una especie de sitio intermedio, donde ellos pues no tienen todo, pueden, tú sabes, vivir en ese sitio el tiempo que quieran hasta que ellos decidan pues entrar hay una puerta,
La del bosque.
la del bosque, que finalmente pues ahí ellos pues se desmaterializan y entran entonces a formar parte del todo. Pero que esa decisión la toman, cada uno la toma. No es una decisión, es como que de momento llega, ellos lo describen como que llega como que una compleción y una paz y una certeza de que pues ya
No necesitan esta mierda.
exacto. Entonces pues ahí es donde finalmente en realidad dejan el cuerpo. Y me pareció bien bello y bien gentil y bien amoroso de la manera que lo hicieron. No todos lo hicieron, solamente hubo una que decidió quedarse para ayudar a, a, a los otros, a la humanidad, tú sabes, a pasar pues esas pruebas de moralidad. Pero sí, lo encontré bien bonito.
Sí, yo lo vi hasta el final, para
Sí.
que se me olvide. Mira, pues nada, vamos a leer la lección porque
¿Tienes prisa?
no quiero tener otra hora de grabación que ver por la tarde.
Por Dios. ¿No la tienes que ver?
Yo sé que no la tengo que ver, pero si lo llevo haciendo todo el año, como que
Hay días que yo no lo veo.
yo siempre lo he visto.
Bueno,
De
pues
hecho, no estoy escuchando a Ken porque en vez de escuchar a Ken lo que hago es verla. Pero nada, puedo volver a escuchar a Ken cuando sea, si lo tengo ahí disponible esperándome, cuando quiera.
cuando quiera. Pues hoy vamos a la lección 314. Busca un futuro diferente del pasado.
Ya lo tengo.
De una nueva percepción del mundo nace un futuro muy diferente del pasado. El futuro se ve ahora simplemente como una extensión del presente. Los errores del pasado no pueden ensombrecerlo, de tal modo que el miedo ha perdido sus ídolos e imágenes, y al no ser forma deja de tener efecto. La muerte no podrá reclamar ahora el futuro, pues ahora la vida se ha convertido en su objetivo y se proveen gustosamente todos los medios necesarios para su logro. ¿Quién podría lamentarse o sufrir cuando el presente ha sido liberado y su seguridad y paz se extienden hasta un futuro tranquilo y lleno de júbilo? Padre, cometimos errores en el pasado, pero ahora elegimos valernos del presente para ser libres. Ponemos el futuro en tus manos y dejamos atrás nuestros errores pasados, seguros de que tú cumplirás las promesas que nos haces en el presente y de que bajo su santa luz dirigirás el futuro. Busca un futuro diferente del pasado. Eso está chévere. El futuro se ve ahora simplemente como una extensión del presente. Y si en el
Sí,
presente estamos en paz, estamos en certeza, pues ese es el mismo futuro que vamos a tener. Y ya no tenemos que tener miedo del ¿qué pasará?
¿cómo será el puente, debajo del puente? ¿Cómo voy a estar debajo del puente?
¿Debajo de qué
Bueno,
puente voy a estar? ¿Y con quién?
igual de chévere voy a estar.
Debemos de dejar de estar diciendo eso, que lo que estamos haciendo invocando el odio puente ese.
Nena, es imposible si eres que el guión ya está escrito. Esos son pensamientos de manifestación y ya sabemos que eso no tiene que ver un carajo. Y yo me lo tengo que recordar, es que es igual que orar a Dios también y
Sí.
todas estas dinámicas viejas del ego que todavía cargamos con nosotros y a
Y,
veces como por... Y yo, ay, mira, no, espérate que esto no es así, mira, ¿para dónde tú vas? No vas a pensar así, ¿no?
a mí me llegó eso
Puedes decir
bien
lo que te dé
fuerte.
la gana.
Sí, a mí me llegó eso que tú estás hablando bien fuerte en estas últimas 2 noches cuando me levanto a las 4 de la mañana, así, clank, y eso mismo, esa noción que me llegó de, espérate, yo todavía estoy rezando y pidiendo cosas específicas en este sueño ilusorio, pidiendo que se me organice. Y de momento yo dije, ¿pero qué carajo estoy haciendo? No estoy haciendo nada.
Que el guión está escrito ya y está escrito para tu mayor felicidad.
Sí,
Lo que pasa es que tienes que aceptarlo.
sí, pues porque me llegó la noción, yo abrí los ojos y yo le dije a Jesús, yo quiero, esto fue mi deseo, yo quiero ser económicamente independiente.
No, mi amor, tú
Entonces,
eres económicamente dependiente del espíritu.
sí, pero ya tú sabes, de una figura específica.
Sí, yo lo sé, lo sé.
Entonces, pues eso me pasó antes de anoche. Y anoche cuando abro los ojos me llegó esa noción que tú estás hablando. Y yo, pero ¿qué carajo estoy haciendo? O sea,
Sí, son viejos patrones que todavía rondan por la mente, igual que compararnos con los demás o pensar que vamos, o sea, hay tanto y tanto y tanto y tanto y tanto. Todos los pensamientos que tenemos están equivocados, todos.
ujú, sí,
Aún los pensamientos sobre la iluminación y sobre el camino espiritual, yo te diría especialmente,
sí.
especialmente. Nadie quien sepa que está buscando la jodida iluminación, ni hablando de ella también. Sea, cuando tú te das cuenta de la ridiculez de todo, tú dices, mira para el carajo, vamos a estar felices con lo que hay, olvídate de eso, aquí y ahora. Pero nada, sé paciente con todo lo que hay.
Sí,
Ahorita
exacto.
salí un poquito de sol y me puse a lavar la ropa que llevaba desde ayer esperando para lavar porque ayer estuvo lloviendo todo el día y ya se está nublando de nuevo. Y te lo menciono porque quizás ahorita te diga, para la mierda esta que voy a ir a sacar la ropa para aprovechar el poco sol que queda. Ay, mi madre.
No, está todo perfecto, en verdad. Sí, exacto. Es como que empezamos a ver la irrealidad de todos esos pensamientos. Y, y lo que me vino fue cuando anoche fue como que en la madrugada que yo dije, ¿qué carajo estoy haciendo? Inmediatamente vino, pero es que no tienes que hacer nada. Déjalo ahí, tú sabes, ya eso se va a resolver cuando se tenga que resolver. No hay que empujar nada porque de cualquier modo ya todo se resolvió. Pero sentí agradecimiento de poder ver lo que yo todavía estaba haciendo, que es un enganche, un engaño, un amarre, una esclavitud, un pensamiento de escasez, un pensamiento erróneo que no tiene que ver con mi realidad.
Yo creo que aquí mejor nos podemos enfocar en la felicidad de aceptar lo que tenemos. Eso está más cerca de nuestra realidad que cualquier otra cosa.
Sí,
Y si lo podemos hacer en términos de ideas y no de objetos materiales, pues más nos acerca todavía. Porque es como yo te decía a ti cuando le estaba diciendo a Gary también que como todos somos uno en la ilusión y todos somos uno en la verdad, pues entonces no hay que hacer más distinciones, ni peticiones, ni comparación.
exacto.
Podemos concentrar en ser felices en el presente.
Sí,
Yo creo que, yo creo que el curso dice literalmente que es una blasfemia sentirse deprimido.
yo creo que sí. Una, pero es una reinterpretación o una redefinición de la palabra blasfemia. Porque
Bueno, claro, tú sabes, pero que te lo está hablando como que de la manera más sencilla. Mira, si no eres rotundamente feliz, te estás atacando a ti mismo y estás atacando a Dios.
sí, sí, exacto, porque estás yendo en contra de la voluntad de Dios, que se supone que sea la misma que la mía.
Exacto.
Y eso, y tiene que ser porque hacemos nosotros en la ilusión, buscando la felicidad. Y la buscamos
atacándonos,
atacando, pero buscando la supuesta felicidad
peleando con todo el mundo por ver qué mierda le voy a quitar a quién.
en maneras aberradas, exacto. Nosotros estamos buscando la felicidad sin saber que ya lo tenemos.
O sea,
Sí.
pero
Y
nada,
lo buscamos en formas bien aberradas. Ayer le estaba diciendo a Viran, porque Viran me hizo un comentario yo no sabía eso, pero tú sabes que cuando murió la mamá de Viran, pues tuvieron un peo con la casa de todas las hermanas y el hermano que todavía falta. Y salió, entonces pues tengo hasta una hermana que ni me habla, y yo, ¿cuál es esa hermana? Y él me dice, pues la que vive en los Estados Unidos. Y yo le dije, pues yo no sé por qué ella se encojona con ustedes. Si ella tempranito vio la tostada, se casó con un extranjero y se mudó lejos de ustedes, en vez de guindarse de una puerta como hizo tu hermano.
ay, mi madre.
Yo se lo puedo decir a él porque él se ríe.
Claro, porque sabes más allá de todo, dentro de todo, él sabe.
Cada uno, tenemos todos el impulso o sea, dentro de nosotros sabemos, esto no puede ser y estamos buscando la salida, ¿verdad? Y buscamos la salida de formas aberradas. Unos se van lejos, unos se mudan, otros se guindan de la puerta, o sea, estamos buscando y de momento, tú sabes, tenemos que llegar a la conclusión de que nada de esto puede ser real, porque Dios no puede meternos a nosotros en un mundo tan aberrado y tan lleno de miseria y de dolor y decirnos, bueno, ahora voy a probarlos, a ver si ustedes, ¿verdad? En verdad son dignos de entrar al cielo, estar conmigo. ¿Qué mierda es esa? Esa premisa está tan y tan loca. Que la conclusión tiene que ser que no es verdad, que no estamos haciendo toda esta mierda nosotros mismos.
Sí. Y nada, eso pues tiene su resultado feliz, que es el sueño real, el mundo real.
El mundo real,
Feliz.
el sueño feliz es en el momento que uno escoge estar con el Espíritu Santo y del todo de otra manera.
Sí.
No es que todo en tu vida va a estar bien organizadito.
Estamos claras ya, yo creo que no nos tenemos que explicar más.
Es reforzando, es reforzando.
Sí, es como que, pues, mira,
Voy a mandarle un mensaje a Gary a ver si quiere saludarnos.
pues dale, yo voy a ir a sacar la ropa de la máquina, a ver qué carajo voy a hacer con toda esa ropa ahora que se nubló.
Hello, Gary.
Hi, Astrid. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good.
Adriana is dealing with her wash. She'll come back.
Oh,
That's why she's not there right now.
nice.
She'll come back.
Nice. Looks like another nice day in Baltimore.
It is. It's been really nice. Like it's in. It says it's like in the 60s, but it feels more like 70s.
Nice.
But it's nice.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's been I think I was in the low 40s this morning when I got up here. So
That's nice. That's
yeah,
nice.
it is nice. It is nice.
I have a message from Lupita. Lupita is one of the people that watches our videos.
Ah,
And left a message on YouTube saying that she really enjoys your, the videos that we've done with you. She lives in Mexico, and she understands enough English that she understands most of what we're talking. And
cool.
She lives by her side. Adriana. And she just wanted me to tell you hi.
Oh, nice.
She enjoyed your participation, and she lives by herself, and she likes the longer videos that we do because she listens to them while she's having her dinner, and she feels like accompanied
Oh, nice.
in their videos. So
Has she joined YouTube at all ever?
no, we've never seen her. We've only just through messages on YouTube. Like
Yeah.
she'll tell us that she's been watching and she likes them, and that's about it. We don't know her. Like we've never interacted, but she, the invitation is there, obviously.
Right.
Be a serial killer and we don't know.
She could be a serial killer and we don't know.
Nor we care.
Nor do we care. That's right. That's right.
We love her.
Yeah. You still love her. And
So I had a busy mind night last night, and I could just sweep it off the table and just throw a lesson at it, and that would be that. I don't know if I shared this with you when we were at the monastery. I don't know if I shared that I had my best friend from, I don't know, 48 years ago, sophomore in high school, I think we met. So in 2012, prior to that, he had been, just real quickly, he'd been buying houses and flipping them, selling them, and then buy a bigger house. And in 2012, when the market crashed, the bank was getting ready to take his house. And this is where this personality has gotten into situations where I guess it's easiest to call it a rescuer model, and I opened my mouth when I wished I had just kept it, like just held space as opposed to like fix it or offer to fix it. Well, and long and short of it is I ended up, even at some point against my far better judgment, I ended up helping him out by buying his house. And the idea was that at some point he would buy it back. Well, he came up with the rent amount and yada, yada, this thing goes on. And so about a year and a half ago, over a year ago, I started to feel like there was we were just riding this thing out. There was no end in sight. And I was assuming all the responsibility. He'd pay this minimal rent. And so I reached out to him. I said, hey, when is this going to end?
That's a good question. That's
Yes.
the question for everything. Right now. It ends right now.
It ends right now.
Right now.
Yeah. So anyway, it started a whole dialogue about how we were going to get out of this. And in the end, he just stopped talking to me because his solution was nowhere near my solution. For him, he just felt that if I took a giant loss at his like a gift to him, that was fine with him. And so I was up last night. I was up at 1 and I sat till 2 and I wrote my attorney a letter, and they were in mediation last week and I haven't heard what's going on. So like I said, I could just sort of dismiss all this as just, it's not real. It's God's will. It'll all be taken care of. It doesn't exist. But on some level, that still isn't quite the truth for me. Mm-hmm. The bigger side of it is that it doesn't appear, but I don't know this to be the case or not, that he he has no chance at this. But I think the thing that's starting to bother me is that if I were just a bank, a financial institution, then if he didn't pay by a certain time, the house gets pulled. With attorneys, and I'm not a financial institution, we settle. So now I'm having to possibly pay him a certain amount to settle on a house that's mine.
Mm.
So that's the sticky part. That's the mind part of it. And so I'm just tossing it out there because it's, like I said, I can just sit there, go into my little meditation space and do my little affirmations about this is not my will, it's God's will, and none of this is true. And to a great degree, that's satisfying. It does seem to alleviate. But I just felt more to bring it to the two of you this morning and just see what arose. And I would prefer no foul language, please. My ears, they're very sensitive.
Seriously?
No.
You're in the wrong group then.
Oh,
Exactly.
my advice was going to say, fuck it.
Fuck it, exactly.
I have no advice. Just fuck it.
Fuck it. Well, thank you. I'm glad I brought that to you both. I feel so resolved now.
Yeah, I think that there's these seeming situations, right? They're sticky and we attach a lot of meaning to them, and I think that the starting point would be like your identity, right?
Yeah.
And with that identity, the question would be, why is this bothering you? There's got to be something that feels threatening to that identity, right?
Sure.
There's possibly some form of insecurity of loss, this idea of loss, this idea of justice and unfairness in the world, right? Like he's probably, taking advantage of you in some way.
Of course.
The treason, the betrayal. That's the theme, the betrayal.
The what?
I feel betrayed.
Betrayal. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only thing. Because we betray God. And now we projected that betrayal on everybody around us. We actually put them there for that purpose. On another level, of course, we don't recognize that because we want to remain in the little self. But if you want to open up and explode, like I was telling you, you did this picture and you put him there to do exactly the role that he has played perfectly. And now you can see him differently. And really, I'm not joking.
I know you're not.
When I said focus, it's really focus.
Yes.
Really.
Yes.
The ego doesn't want to do that because where would I be if I had no grievances against this motherfucker that fucked up my life when I tried to help him?
I told you about this foul language.
No computa, no compute. Spirit loves me and he talks to me in a way that I can understand and enjoy.
I bet. So you bring up this point about seeing him or the situation differently. And that means obviously to see it from the position of Christ, to see it from the position of the Holy Spirit and not from this identity.
Yep.
And so
Yeah, because
On
the
what level?
affirmations are alleviate momentarily, but it doesn't really resolve in your mind, because it's like you have this situation and you're just putting a nice little pretty covering over it, but you're not really resolving it. So I'm not saying that it's wrong to do that. That's fine, because it's like a moment. Sometimes we need that rescue to then get to a place of peace, but we can't stay there. We need to go deeper and see, okay, what are my beliefs about myself in this situation? What are the erroneous beliefs, right, about myself? And that also includes the other person. And knowing that you and the other person are perfectly cared for. And another way of seeing this is that might be helpful would be like, well, how beautiful that you were able to do this thing for this person, right? But at the same time, we don't know what is best for ourselves, and we don't know what's best for the other person. And maybe a litigation is best for you and for the other person, maybe not, maybe settling. But the form of how things happen is not what's important. It's what's important is your state of mind during all of those stages of seemingly what's happening, right? So how are you? Are you peaceful? Are you secure? Do you have some kind of attachment to a certain outcome? Those are the questions that I would consider for myself.
Right. Right.
To
You know,
navigate.
I think most of the time, I mean, I've gotten to a place of accepting the situation as it is. You know, we're the same age. He because of COVID, he hasn't been working. His wife hasn't been working. Like there's a story that I can see it and understand the desperateness that he's feeling right now. He spent his whole adult life building this sort of empire that in 2012 crashed.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's that side of the story. There's the other side of the story where he just felt like, wow, I've got this thing made, and this is my story. He got this made. You know, he pays rent whenever he wants, and I finally had to say, hey, you know, let's tighten this shit up here. You know, so the last thing I saw from his attorney was, let's settle in such a way that they can keep the house. Well, you know, that comes at a great expense to me, tremendous expense. And for them, it's just this huge gain.
Mm-hmm.
But let me ask you something, like,
Please.
because I'm kind of wondering, what is it that you're losing?
What am I losing? A lot of money.
Like how much?
Like $2 million.
That's a lot.
It is.
And you need it, obviously.
That's a good question.
Or you could do without that.
That's also a good question.
Okay, well, check that. Check that.
Yeah, I
because
don't know.
you could do without that, without having the dream that you have to live a fancy life and had a lot of money to leave to your loved ones or whatever. You know, all the shit that we carry with us.
Yeah.
Check really what it's costing you and open your eyes to how better would you be without this whole knot in your life. Like, can I just be my own with whatever I have now and forget about this whole fucking thing and bless them goodbye forever? Check that. Maybe the whole 2 million will not seem so big when you compare it to the offering, and it has been causing you since I don't know when.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the question, I think.
And there she goes. She just like drops this big old giant ball right in the middle of my eye, and then she walks away.
Adriana, yeah, she does that. Well, I mean, what is it costing you? Peace of mind. Going back to what she was saying, it doesn't in the form, you know, you do what you have to do. Like if you're going to go ahead with the litigation, that's fine. If you don't, if you're going to drop it, that's fine as well. The important thing is your state of mind while
Yes.
you're doing either option, right? Because it doesn't
Yeah.
really, because we get confused with levels, and then we get all entangled with the form and trying to make a correct decision. There's no correct or incorrect decision on what you have to do in the form. It's how you're going to perceive it, whatever is going to happen, whatever decision you make. Are you going to be peaceful with either decision? It doesn't, because it doesn't matter if you lose the money or if you are able to get the money. That's not the important thing. The important thing is, how is your state of mind through this? And
Right.
one of the things, like, you know, for us as students is to be vigilant in protecting our state of mind. And then when I say protection, it's not,
I understand.
Really, it's not the egoic protection. It's like, oh, I don't want to go there. No, it's like, just be vigilant of what's taking you out of that peace. But at the same time, we can't negate what's coming up for you, because obviously there's stuff that's coming up and that has to be looked at and that has to be seen, and we have to see what are the beliefs underneath that for you to be able to resolve. So yeah.
You know, like I said, most of the time I don't even think about him. I don't think about the situation. I understand that there's something here that's completely out of my control. I didn't do anything to set this up in terms of an intent against him. I, in fact, was just the opposite. So I look at it and I go, well, this is just what's unfolding. And there's a quality of freedom in that. You know?
That's all you need.
Right?
That's all you need.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
It's just every now and then the mind gets in there and it
Yeah,
rips out the story, right?
Yeah, the ego won't let you be.
No.
Ever.
And that's why I say I could have, on one level, I could have let this go today, not brought it up. But on the other side, it's like, well, but yeah, this story just still, you know, kicks up some dust.
And it will, yeah, it will. Even if you resolve it, like in physical terms, with whatever outcome is, if you not have seen it as an opportunity to forgive that you brought with you along with the role, the character, and you totally let it go, and still you believe the ego telling you all these stories about how good you were and how fucked up the situation and not be, it could be resolved already and you will still be having regrets about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
On the other side of the coin, you could still be like in hell fighting with him and still be at peace with the whole situation. Just working the character as it needs to be done, but without a grudge inside of you, because you already know that this is not an ill manipulation from either part. This is part of duality. This is what happens here. And even though your character has not left the body, it could have left the thought system.
Mm.
And that is what you would call illumination. Not
Yeah.
that you will see differently or anything. You just, I'm telling you, you don't give a fuck. It's really nice. It's not a joke. It's not bad words. It's a reality. You could still be practical about the matter. If you need the money for your later days or for whatever fucking reason you need them or not, you know, the situation, the outcome, the story has nothing to do with your peace. And you will have to understand that. Just as lack of money or lots of money has nothing to do with your peace, the same things with friendships and situations with other bodies or even sickness. It's all the same, many forms of what is.
Yeah.
So when you are caught up in that agony of knowing this bullshit is taking away my peace and it should not be doing that, I should be doing something greater. You just have to remember what you are. And hopefully that will give you some kind of rest. Doesn't matter who's in this situation, whether it's your father, your sister, your brother, your friend, your ex, or your partner, or your sons, or doesn't matter. Because in the greatness of that experience, all else seems like it cannot hold a match. So little and so transient and so meaningless when you know that you're one with everything.
Mm.
Those are nice words, but you have to want them.
Of course. Of course.
You have to really want them, you know? That moment when you're agonizing over a thought, it doesn't matter about what. You have to stop yourself and say, what I'm gaining with this,
You
you know?
know, I have a, you both have given me in feedback, and Adriana, your feedback is more global in its feeling to me. It's
Yeah, I know.
big. It's which is great. It's great.
Magnificent.
That was the word I was looking for. Magnificent. And Astrid, yours is more local, it seems to me. You know, you're speaking more to the beliefs that are behind, you know, the suffering or what have you. And I think, I mean, my feeling is that both have a place in this conversation.
Yeah, because to get to where Adriana is saying, you have to look at those beliefs that are coming up.
Right. And so getting in touch with the beliefs is part of the movement towards a global experience of truth.
Yeah, that's part of not negating your humanity, and not negating like the power of your mind. You have to see what you've made up and what you believe, to know that it's not true, to know it's not real, and then you get to that part where Adriana is talking about.
Yeah.
You can't skip the steps. That's one of the things that Ken Wapnick always says. You can't skip that step. You can't skip the step of looking at the darkness and what's coming up in any situation. And this isn't any different from any other situation. It's just that we've valued it. We've given it a different, you know, the ego has given it a bigger value, because it doesn't matter if it's $2 million or $5. The grievance is going to be the same.
Yeah, that's true.
You know.
Yeah.
So it seems like we could be quicker to let go of $5 than of 2 million. But why? Because we've given it more value. But the same grievances are going to come up. Like, oh, okay, I gave $5 and this person hasn't given me back my $5, and then all the feelings of someone trying to take advantage of us. All those feelings come up, the ones that we were talking about. So it doesn't matter how you resolve this. It's how you're gonna see it and how you're gonna resolve it in your mind. Are you gonna crucify yourself and everybody involved? Or are you gonna let everybody off the hook? When I say off the hook, it's in the mind.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, because there are some situations in life, like Adriana was saying, that we have to be practical, right? We're not going to leave practicality out of this, but also understanding what it is. It's part of the illusion. But the Holy Spirit comes in and uses what we've made to teach us.
Yeah.
So we can't negate the process. We can't negate our seemingly human experience because we know all this metaphysics, because that's not going to help.
Yeah, I'm thinking of that situation with Sarah back at the monastery where she just got up and walked away when I was trying to have a conversation to bring resolve, to bring, closure to what had been going on. And she just got up and walked away. I'm like, who the fuck are you? Like, seriously? I'm sitting here trying to resolve this and you're going to walk away and you're a facilitator? What the, and I watched myself get all riled up. And Dave was, so it was a chance to see it at that more organic level where Dave was just like, so what has really got you so upset? And it was like, well, she walked
walking
away.
away and she walks away on you first.
Right. Right.
I'm telling her that I'm leaving, but she decides to leave me first.
Exactly.
What a motherfucking stupid.
The thing is,
How dare she? I am the
dare
one
she?
that is leaving. She cannot leave me. You see how we react to all these things? We have
I was
to have
just trying
some
to bring resolve.
responsibility.
I was just trying to bring some closure to it, and she wouldn't give me that closure. So the belief was that whenever there's conflict, I have to have closure.
To have it
That
with
was what the belief
yourself.
was.
That's the guillotine that you were wanting all that time for your professor to give you. And he was telling you right from the beginning, like 20 years ago, it's yours.
Yep.
Nobody can take it from you. It's yours. And actually, that's our ultimate responsibility, to accept that we are the dreamer of the dream. And we don't do that to dwell on our limitations
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
Even though you're perceiving one level in Astrid and another in me, the distance between those two levels is a millisecond.
Yeah.
It's the progression, and you will decide how quick I want to be at peace with everything. Because you know what? You cannot be at peace with something and not with something else.
mm,
That's a little detail that the ego wants to hide always. And you have to look at it and say, fuck it. The words keeps coming in. I'm sorry. It's fuck it.
And for me to get to the place where I can honestly and congruently and knowingly say fuck it was when the situation with Sarah and Dave just said to me, pointed out to me, he said, what specifically holds you here? And it was the understanding that I have walked this planet with the belief that all conflict needs resolution. And I was being denied that resolution by this woman, right? That was my belief. And I've held that belief.
No,
and Dave just looked at me and he said, so what are you going to do with that? And in that moment, the whole thing just collapsed. It just collapsed. And so what it did is it went from seeing this belief and the limits and how it held me and controlled me and I invested in it, to being able to say, fuck it. Fuck it. But I couldn't say fuck it before. Because I didn't know what I could say fuck it to.
Now you can.
Now I can.
Yeah,
and this is what I was
say
saying,
fuck
the
it
difference.
you always say fuck it to yourself for believing in the reality of the illusion. That's it.
And this is the difference between the non-dual experience that I've been doing these last 15 years and then the Course of Miracles coming in. The non-dual teachings was always fuck it. Right? It was always global. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's so big. I'm down here like in the mud and you're just saying fuck it. But I'm muddy. How do I get out of this shit?
You're not.
And so
that's the reality. You're not. You're the only one that, when you recognize you're always doing it to yourself until you're so fed up of keep on doing it, doing it, doing it. You've been at it like for you know how many years, you know, and
Too
keep on
many.
finding ways of feeling yourself trapped in a place that is not even real, that is all in your mind. It will get there when it needs to get there. You don't have to push it either, you know.
Yeah.
No, but
Only with seeing it as it is enough.
Yeah. And also recognizing what Adriana's saying, that this is something that you've done to yourself and you set up at the beginning. When you started to talk about this, you said something that's very telling, in the sense that you went into this against your better judgment.
But there
always,
are errors. There are no errors. There no.
always.
It makes no sense to say I could have done anything differently. Please don't go
How
there.
many relationships have we been in where we knew on the front end?
I know.
But no, the relationship from with this body.
Yeah, I'm not
This
saying
is,
that it's an
this is the
error.
first shitty relationship that there is.
I'm not saying that it's an error. I'm just saying that we have to take responsibility for the situations that we're in a sense.
Yes.
Not responsibility like the ego says, take responsibility and then, lash at
And feel
yourself
bad.
and feel bad and castigar, como castigar, punish yourself.
Punish
I'm not saying
yourself.
that. Is taking responsibility for setting this thing up, believing in it. So now the next step is saying, okay, I did this to myself. It's not real, and I can let it go. And when I say let it go, it's letting it go in the mind, not necessarily letting it go in the form, in the sense that you're gonna be like, oh, forget it, fuck it.
It
No,
could be.
if you haven't resolved it in the mind, the fuck it is not going to be complete, in the sense that you're still gonna be punishing yourself. You're still gonna have regret. You're still going to crucify the other person. You're going to still have the belief that this person is trying to take advantage of you. So all of this has to be done in the mind. And once it's resolved in the mind, you can do whatever you have to do. If you have to go after this person to recover your money, or you just don't, then that's fine. The thing is that it has to be resolved in the mind first, so that you can have, that peace.
And that's what I was saying with in terms of this situation with Sarah and Dave. I couldn't see it. I'm walking, Sarah walks away and I'm like, I couldn't see it. I couldn't even see the belief behind it. And Dave's like, let's go for a walk. And the moment he hands me the truth, everything collapsed. Everything collapsed. The story collapsed. The belief in needing to get resolution with conflict, all of it's gone. I didn't have to even do anything. So really all I'm saying is that this is the beauty of the course for me, is it allows me to see that which I had not seen before.
Exactly.
To get to the place of fuck it.
Mm-hmm. And it's a loving fuck it. Very loving. The most loving thing you can do for yourself and for the whole universe.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what Adriana said is true. You can't have peace in one area and not in another. I mean, peace is complete. You're either peaceful or you're not.
Right.
It's not in pieces. It's not in situations. Doesn't have to do with the situation. So the good thing about when this stuff comes up is that you notice, oh, I'm not at peace. I have this situation that's still moving me.
And then you ask for help. That's it. You see it. You don't blame any other person, any situation, or any form. You go within yourself, and you know that it's not about the form, ¿verdad? So actually asking to see it differently will give your mind enough quietness to rethink about what the premises were and what they were for, and now use it for a healing purpose, because that's all that you're doing. You're not changing form. You're just evaluating your thoughts and whatever it's in the script that you ultimately put there, Accept responsibility so that way you can heal it where the healing can be done. And the healing can never be done in this dualistic world.
Yeah. No.
The healing will be done in your mind. And you have to actually understand that so, so good that you don't even try to fix things in the world. You won't go there because you know that it has no, there's no need for you to do that because since the script is written, what has to happen, it will happen. It doesn't matter how much you oppose it or it doesn't matter how much you look for it. And that's the same for every outcome. Just sit and watch. And then you see it enough to ask for a way to see it differently so you can bless it, not the form. It's the judgments that you're putting into the form. Because you can see anything, but until you judge it, you will not suffer it.
Yeah.
So it's not what is happening, it's what you're doing inside of you, what is causing the suffering. And when you know that, you can actually resolve it very quickly, because you don't want to suffer really. And necessarily, you will have to recognize that you're pure spirit not to experience suffering. And that has not to do with anything on time and space. That's a change of mind. And that can occur in an instant, this moment. I want you to keep watching all the thoughts that your mind will be exposing, not to feel that. And then you one by one, okay, one by one, without any hurry, without any rush, without trying to make a picture of how perfect my future should be. All right, I know I'm not from this world, but what will happen in between I leave the body? I don't have to wait for that time. I can accept my reality right here. And it's not a lofty idea, it's a fucking truth that you can accept it at the moment because I'm pretty sure that you have had your moments where you have changed your mind completely about what is happening and you experience the peaceful results. So ask yourself why you're not doing that,
Mm.
why you don't want to do that. And again, like with the money, what is it that you're losing? Or what are you trying to hold on to? There are very intimate questions that you will have to ask yourself.
Yes. Yeah, it's the ego that just rushes in to take that answer. And
Yeah, because you let it.
sí, claro.
You don't have to let it. You can say just no more. Thank you. Be polite. Fuck you, please. Yeah, be polite. I'm sweating here. Swaying.
I'm freezing
Like,
here.
yeah, I know, but I'm in the tropics.
Yeah, I'm in the mountains.
Well,
It's very nice where I'm at.
but we both
Right
should
in the
go and
middle.
meet you there.
It's very nice here.
It's interesting. It's remarkable. I don't know what it is to be sitting here with you two, and just being in the presence of so much clarity right now. Here, but with you both,
Yeah.
and I mean, this is the beauty of truth. You know, I couldn't have written this script. you know. Yeah, go to a monastery up in Utah and hang out for 12 days. Meet this woman named Astrid, and then, you know, she'll leave, and then you'll leave, and then you meet this woman in Puerto Rico, and they're just going to speak truth to you like once a day. And it's great because it's recorded. So when you want to go to sleep at night and you're laying in bed, you can just put it on and just listen to what happened that day. Yeah, I would have written that script.
Yeah, you laugh at it. Of course, you
Yes.
will laugh at it.
Yes.
It's just reflections of your own mind, of the one mind, you know. It's all, the clarity is there.
Yeah.
We just reflect it back to each other. That's
Just because you're willing, because if you were not willing, you would be fighting with us and arguing. And in that case, I will just leave the conversation.
like Sarah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't need to argue with anybody over anything. But you don't need to feel other than happy. Whenever you're not feeling happy and grateful, check yourself.
Yeah.
And say there's something wrong that I'm thinking about that I should not be thinking, because I'm not here to be miserable. And you can come here and visit me and stay here if you want to, you know. I have room for you and a bathroom too.
I just don't know what I'm going to do after 4:30 in the afternoon.
Pues get bored. You go to Astrid. She goes to bed like at 12. Or you can go to Astrid's house. She has a room of a basement and 2 kids and a dog. So you have plenty to do after 4:30.
We watch a lot of Netflix.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, don't be worried. Don't be worried or confused by the things of this world. It's not a good place to be, and it's not necessary.
We're all exactly where we need to be.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm feeling to go to Puerto Rico in January. I'm going to go see Adriana, hopefully.
That changes every week.
Cállate. Shut up.
I'm saying don't take it too seriously, because
No, I know. I mean,
I'm gonna be here for a while because my mother is in quite good health. So until she dies, I'll be here, unless an earthquake. We experienced a couple of those.
A couple?
Like more than 100, like in a month. It was crazy. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah. You see our videos, we track them because we connect every day, and it was like, how many have you felt today? Oh, about 4 or 5. And you know, I think that at some point we were connected, and and some happened, some of those.
Yeah, I was here and I said, no, espérate.
You would run off.
I went out because he was trembling at the same moment, and all the house, goes like that. But that was a great learning experience, because when you are in the healing mode, you say, okay, what can I learn from this? And I could see that I could go out that door without anything and don't look back. And that was good. That was very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do you live in Puerto Rico? Do you live in a big city?
Well, there are no big cities here, dear.
Well, for Puerto Rico, I mean.
Yeah, for Puerto Rico, it's the second largest. But it's in the south, in the Caribbean.
She lives on the south side in Ponce. She lives like...
Yeah, but we just experienced like the 100-year earthquake. What they call like the
big one.
The big one.
Like Yeah, like every 100 years, there's a big one, more or less. It's like an earthquake law.
That was after the hurricane.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, but it's okay because you learn how you can, you know, just live day by day, really.
Yeah. Yeah. And the house is fine.
Yeah, everything is fine. I I experienced like a couple of situations and then the pandemic, and then I had a nice crisis, a nice ego crisis, you know, like those are, you're nothing, you have accomplished nothing, este, you have wasted all your time, you devoted all this time to awakening, and now you're left in the streets, and everybody gives you the cold shoulder because you don't think and act like they do, and you don't, you know, when you don't support the way the people think, they tend to see you as an enemy, even though you don't try to contradict anyone, but just because you don't go out and don't hang out and worry about the things that people usually worry, and yeah, but that big
Lasted
crisis
for about a week, right? It was like a week or
for me it lasted like the very breaking point lasted like a day. It was kind of getting, o sea, events after events after events after events after events. But then the big moment just came like at one night.
mm.
And I just said to the Holy Spirit, I'm not gonna really the crisis was that I saw myself having to quote unquote go back to society and to negotiating with the world. How would I live just to accommodate to worldly standards again when I have, and that I couldn't see the impossibility of that at the moment because the ego had me hit by many fronts, that my kids, many things, you know, many things that I did not expected that they will turn their back on me seemingly. And then in the movie, like one after the other, after the other, after the other, I felt completely lost and betrayed and abandoned. And then the ego found very fertile grounds to bring up all these
Sure.
thoughts about unworthiness and, you know, but I wasn't to relinquish, you know. I hold on. I said to the Holy Spirit, we're gonna, you know, go through this together. I'm not holding your hand. And it really didn't last.
Hmm.
You know, I was telling Astrid some of the events that get to the very breaking point where I say, no, I'm not going back. I'm not losing my faith. And tú sabes, I wasn't brought here by myself. I had help. And that internal help that got me here will take me wherever I need to go. And it came to a beautiful point where I was sure that it didn't matter what happened, that I would be safe and happy.
Mm-hmm.
No
Because
matter
we tend to figure out mentally how that good and happy will be, and then we lose ourselves. So it was provided for me to be sure that the form will not matter because I will be safe and happy wherever I needed to. And that was beautiful. And it was worth everything that happened. It's like going through the dark night and then opening your eyes during the morning, and and knowing that what you learned during that dark night, that knowingness that you gain by surrendering in the darkness, that you receive the support that you need to go on a little deeper, a little further.
And it can't be taken away from you.
No. Only I can relinquish it. Why would I?
Sure. Sure.
I mean, the ego is crazy, but I'm not. You know,
Yeah.
there's something in me that calls me to sanity.
That'd make a great bumper sticker.
let's do that. We're trying to figure out how we're gonna live when we go on the motorhome and go around the world. And you know, I'm planning on baking and doing dance classes, and now we can do bumper stickers and shirts too.
T-shirts.
Or we can make a miracle drink and sell it. Like in little bottles, like they used to do in the 18th and 16th century, and go with a caravan selling miracles in a bottle. We could easily do that without any guilt or remorse.
Oh, yes.
Well, with that joke, I'm going to leave because otherwise, you know, it's going to be too long. Is there anything else that we should be discussing?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Gracias.
Always a
You're
pleasure.
good. Happy.
Yeah.
Happier.
Happier.
Good. And Astrid is always happy. So
Yeah.
until she's not. And then we have to deal with that. Bueno, for now, three amigos. Have a great
Enjoy
day.
your day.
Yeah, sure. Have a great
Gracias.
day.
Los amo. Love
Okay.
you. Okay. Bye-bye.
Adios.